Good morning once again. There are a few more attendees yet to join, but then we'll get started. So let me share my screen. In the meanwhile, so today we would be discussing about uh, OKR and goals. OKR means objectives and key result areas. Uh, uh, Yesterday and in the last few days, we have discussed about onboarding performance. So this is also can be treated as part of performance, since it also evaluates employees' performance on a regular basis. Since this is a key result area oriented approach, so this is done more on a frequent basis than done on the performance evaluation, which is more from different parameters or competencies point of view. So this objective and key result areas and goals is done majorly done on a quarterly basis. One of the examples of this can be your sales targets, or it can be your support calls target, or it can be anything around it which will help the evaluators or your managers or your seniors to understand how is your work or your performance going on from the approach of whether you'll be able to reach the goals, or you need any help on the side to reach your goals in the specified period. So basically this facility will provide you an option to track the performance of the employees or all your team members against the specific goals or KRAs that you have assigned. And since it is well understood that any goal or any target would have not so much of significance if there is no deadline or a deadline or a timeline attached to it. So normally the key result areas will have a timeline, so it can always be a monthly or a quarterly or targets or deadlines. So that is why we have the OKR and goals being done on majorly on either only monthly or the quarterly basis. So let's understand what is it all about. So as the name says, you will have to have certain objectives, and these objectives can be majorly pointing towards the vision or mission of a company, and then the key result areas, the areas which show the result of a team or a member will be again aligned to the objective. So best example, as I said, would be if I want to rate the performance of my development team or the development member, I would try to see how well he has been able to develop number of modules, or how well he is able to resolve the issues that have been brought up during the development period, or what are his creative ideas that he's given. So when we talk in terms of what are the various modules he has developed, so it should have some timeline. So that's the reason we have the quarterly selection or the monthly selection or the yearly selection also as an option. So first of all, as we're talking about duration, so this window will provide you an option of creating your own duration. So if I have to go with this particular window, so it says quarter one, and the year will be 2001, and we would be evaluating employees performance on quarterly basis. So it will be Q1, and it can be 1st January 2021 to 31st March, or it can be 1st April to 30th June 2021. So you can always have various durations as per your requirement. And then comes what are the actual units that you would measure the employees' results on, whether it is the in terms of windows developed, in terms of various issues sorted out, or in terms of sales, or in terms of how many channel partners you are able to make join the company stream, or on the similar background. So it can be numbers, it can be rupees, it can be a number of demos done, number of conversions done. So you can define your own units here. And then comes the major part, as in what is the objective, what is the major objective. Is it to evaluate a person from the technical perspective, or evaluate an employee's performance from the sales point of view or the marketing point of view. Marketing point of view can always be how many more customers or how many people have been able to uh, have been attracted by a particular campaign, or how many viewers are there for that particular campaign, how viral it has gone, or how successful it has been in terms of reaching out various audiences. So it can be objective can be anything from evaluating on a marketing background or a sales or a development background. And then the result areas can always be, as we discussed, it can be what is the sales achieved, what are the conversions done, what are the various issues found out, or bugs found out by the development team, or it can be number of tickets resolved. So it can be anything which really shows the performance of that particular employee or the member towards the objective. Now once like you have an option to define the objective, it's a very simple basic option, as in you would give the name of the objective, and then in terms of result areas you can define the result areas also. And when you're defining the result areas, you can define the in terms of what units you would measuring that result. And then if you're talking about any target, you would also specify the number or the target to be achieved that by that particular team member or the employee. So you'll be able to understand what has been his performance for that particular period. So we would define the master, we would define the units, we would define the objective, we would define the key result area, and the target to be achieved in that particular timeline. So once that is done, the next process would be to align the objectives with the key result areas. So you can always go here and specify the combination name for that, and you can select whatever is the objective. You can align the various key result areas. So let me show you one of the development reviewers. So the name of the objective would the entire performance evaluation would be to review a developer for the quarter 1. You would select the objective here. You will also select the key result areas. So here you would see the key result area is how many modules he has completed, how many tickets he has resolved, how many bugs he has found. And similarly you can have that, you can give a description to this particular mapping. And then you can always, we have given an option here, you can always come and create, and you don't need to save and then go back to the previous window and create another option. So you can always create here, like I want to measure how many if he has developed any, what percentage of how good is the UI. If I want to just check how good is the UI, so the key result area would be how good is the UI. And here the unit can also be in terms of rating, in terms of, so I can always come here and define the various options that I want. So so rating, I would expect him to reach target would be always 10. So I have created this key result area, and then I will close this, refresh the window, and then I can select the option how good is the UI. So you can simultaneously create objectives, you can simultaneously create the key result areas, or you can create the unit of measurement, and then save what are the key result areas. So once this is done, we can directly move to the option of how the employee would respond to this particular uh, OKR. You can either directly assign this to a particular employee, or you would select which is the duration, because you would be specifying for which particular duration you want this performance to be evaluated, and then you can assign it to the you can map it to the whatever objective or the mapping that you have given, name you have given to this OKR, and then you can allot to that particular employee. um, I would allot it to Mamta so that I have that login open. So you can see that this has been assigned to Mamta here for the quarter one. I have named it as quarter one, but this is assigned for the quarter second. So now if I log into this particular employee's login, I can see the OKR, that it this is one of the OKRs, and then the second OKR is also here. So you can have multiple OKRs assigned to a particular employee if there is a need. So this is the view that you would get. The employee can always fill various details into this performance window. Now let us see what is the various details he can see. Before this, I just wanted to recap what has been discussed so far in terms of master definition. You can create a duration, you can create the unit in terms of what are the units on which the results will be measured. Duration can be monthly, quarterly, or yearly. And in terms of result areas, you can define the name of the result, and what is the target to be achieved, so that the employee understand what is the target to be achieved for that particular key result area. Then you will have to map that key result area to the particular objective. So the objective and the key result areas have to be mapped with each other, and then you can assign that particular OKR with the duration to that particular employee, as shown here in this window. So once it is assigned, it will be directly visible in the employee login, and whatever the employee is giving as in terms of performance, it will show up in the employee performance window. Currently, we have not developed this, but we would be developing this in the future. Similar to the way you see the performance management, you would also see the OKR result also here. Currently, the view is only limited to the admin login, but let me show you how it appears in terms of employee login. So employee will be able to see what is the start date of that particular review, and then what is the end date, what is the quarter that he is responding for, and whether he can also specify the status of that particular evaluation. Now, what are the various key result areas that we have mapped? It is sales, what is successful completion of those sales, how many conversions that have happened, because it's the performance of an employee in terms of sales will not be only restricted to the conversions that they have done. It can also have simultaneous successful completion of the implementations, because that is something that is always ongoing. And then what are the conversions he's been able to do? Sales, if an employee is getting 10 leads in a month and is able to convert all of the 10 into successful customers, then it's a different performance. Whereas converting out of 100 to 10 would be a different conversion ratio. So this can also be part of the key result area evaluation. So now we have understood what the window displays and how an employee can respond to various KRAs. Let us see what are the various details that an employee can respond with. So here, if you see the edit note option, he can specify what is the status of that particular OKR. He can say it is on track, it is not yet started, it is done, or he is running at a risk of performance. And this chart will give us a detail as in how he has been performing, which is the sales that. So whenever he starts with, he will able to see the various statuses, as in when he has completed what level of performance. So if I have to go with this particular KRA, You can see that he has achieved 1,20,000 and is on track. And if I see the information part of it, this is when he has achieved his total 1,20,000 or the total performance. He had done a sale of 1 lakh on 14th May 2021. Just for reference, you can again see that it was another 20,000 of sales was done on 14th May, but we can assume that it to be 18th of May. So this is how the employee can keep adding information to this particular login, and this can be viewed by the manager in the future. So the manager will be able to understand how is the progress going on a day-to-day basis. There will be a direct reporting process that's going on. Again, on the chart side, you can see it's the total what he has converted. Again, in terms of successful conversions, he can show that he has achieved 3 conversions. What are the various states on which he has done the total conversions, and the same kind of information can be seen here. So this is how we can fill the detail. Let me show you by filling one of the details. Not yet started, on track, it will get saved. So if you see, it will show as on track, and then when I start adding more details, how many modules have been completed? 2 modules completed, on track. So the system will capture this particular detail out here as in when he has completed these 2 modules. This is on 22nd May 2021. So this is how the details can be added into the employee login. Uh, whenever the manager logins or the admin goes into checking this particular details, he can come to this particular window, that is OKR details, and he can select that particular period as in when is this performance being evaluated for. This has been evaluated for 1st April to 30th June, so he can just filter that particular dates, um, and check the result performance of that particular employee. So if I have to go with this particular employee, you can see that there are total, um, if I see that Mamta, she had only put details against how many modules she has completed. The target was 5. She has achieved completed 2 modules so far. So she has achieved a 40% target so far. So it is showing only one, since she has filled details only for one. And whereas if we go for Sumit Jain, he has given an evaluation saying that he has completed 5 out of 5 modules, and he has closed 15 tickets out of 20, and then he has found 10 bugs out of 15 to be found. So this is how his target achievement is. So this is how you can say it. Let me just show you how fast it reflects. I'll just feed in another information that I have completed 10 tickets, or I can say I have completed 5 tickets, and I'm on track. So the same details will be visible here. So now you can see that again against the name Mamta, you are able to see how many tickets are closed. She has closed 5 tickets so far, so she has achieved 25% of her target. So this is how you can have various targets and objectives or key result areas included into the system, and have the employee feed the details on a regular basis. There is no limit on the objectives or key result areas that you can create and map against each other. Like I have shown, Mamta has been given 2 OKRs to be responded against. You can have more number of OKRs, and the same will be reflected here. This matrix can also be exported to Excel, and this can be sent, or it can be viewed as and when the requirement is there. So this is how it will appear. It will show you the various details that are required for evaluating that particular employee on a regular basis. Apart from this, this is what is majorly about this OKR as an option. If anyone has any questions, request you to raise those questions, or I can recap this entire module in next 5 minutes, so that uh, whoever has joined a little later will be able to understand it from that particular perspective. Any questions, please request you to ask those questions. So I think there doesn't seem to be any question, since it's a very simple and straightforward module wherein you can define your master as in terms of duration, wherein it can be monthly, quarterly, majorly quarterly, yearly, and half yearly. So, and you can also define monthly because year can be 2021, but only the thing would be you will have to adjust to the name of that field, and you can have the start and end date on the basis of whenever you want the result areas communication required. So you can have units included here in terms of whatever is the units that you want it to be measured against. You can define your objectives here. It's a basic straightforward naming option. Result areas can be defined here, wherein you can define the units as well as what is the total target to be achieved, so that the employee understand what is expected of him. Later you can map the objectives and the key result areas, assign it to particular employee. uh, it's a simple process. You can go to the you can select the duration and the OKR that needs to be selected, and then you can directly assign to all the employees that are required to respond to this particular OKR. uh, and then once the employee has filled the details, it would be visible here in the OKR when you select that particular duration. Since you can have many number of OKRs defined based on various durations, so when you filter for that, you'll be able to generate that and export to Excel. In the ESS, this is how you can see it. It will be appearing under HRMS option, and here in the OKR. So you will be able to put your performance details on a regular basis, and it will be tracked on day-to-day basis, which will be visible to the manager also in the future. So I believe there doesn't seem to be any much questions so far. So if there is any further questions, please let me know. I'll be waiting for another couple of minutes, post which we can close the session. Um, in the meanwhile, I really thank everyone, whoever has attended this session. Thank you so much for attending it. And any questions can always be sent to our email ID, or you can contact us on our various numbers which are there on our website under the contact us option. And request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that whenever we are uploading this particular video, you can always go back and check if you have any questions and raise your questions from the contact us page. We also have a WhatsApp number where you can push us any queries. You can always, if you really want to try these all features, we can give you a trial out as well, for a specific number of days. So you can request a demo from here, and if you want a trial, we can always look at that option. Request you to, uh, if there are any questions, just let us know your questions. We are very sure that we should be able to give you the required performance from the software. We have been in the attendance field for last 8 to 10 years now, and payroll we have been for 5 years, and HRMS has been for like now 1 year. So we should be able to help you with whatever queries you have. Um, Seems like we don't have any such questions. So thank you so much for joining in. Hoping to see you all in our next session, which is on Monday, on a very important topic, that is feedback, survey, and test. It's a very important module that we have developed. I really want to say this because it's one module where you can actually do a multiple tasks. You can conduct a feedback from your various employees. You can conduct a survey, and you can conduct various tests, because the way you can frame the questions is really flexible. You can have a score based questions, you can have rating based questions, you can have choice based questions. So it makes really different things possible, from feedback, survey tests, or training tests, whatever kind of tests you want to conduct with the employees. So this is all about it. Thank you so much for joining in. Goodbye. Thank you.